What's up, warriors? I hope that you are well and doing everything you can do to thrive in your journey, no matter where you are in your journey. In today's episode, we are in for a special treat. Today, we're going to be hearing the testimony of a fellow warrior, Lexi. Lexi is so beautiful. She is so kind. She is so filled with love and light. And my favorite thing about Lexi is Lexi allows us to see where we could be if we just allowed ourselves to be. She is the epitome of what it looks like to be thriving in life after you have walked through being in the deepest and the dark of the journey to parenthood, and especially where that journey doesn't look like you hoped, expected, thought it would look. Okay? So I hope that you just set aside the space, the time. It is a long one, but it's so necessary. And truthfully, it could have been longer. Okay? But thank you, Lexi, for your light. Let's get into it. Welcome, Lexi.
Hello. Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm doing good. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for
I
having
really
me.
appreciate you saying yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Well, let's go back. Let's go back. What was your childhood like? If you could talk about it broadly, like,
Okay. So growing up, my parents got divorced when I was very young. So primarily raised by a single mother. Who I love that woman so much. But raised by a single mother and my grandmother. So my grandmother, she always lived around the corner from us. And then as we got older and as my grandmother got older, she actually moved in with us and lived in the house with us. Um, my mom always says that my grandma was her second parent. So my grandmother was my ride or die. She was an amazing woman. And I attribute a lot of who I am today to her. She was very strong, very independent. There is nothing that I couldn't do. And even with my mother, even to this day, there's nothing that I cannot do. My mother is my ride or die. So growing up in that environment, it was very empowering to, have experiences. And then on my dad's side, we had my granny who the woman traveled all over the world. My mom is seeing my dad's mom. She kind of a gypsy, but seeing that travel and that love of life, I think that also had an impact on me. Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
What did you ever think about yourself as a mom
Oh,
when
absolutely.
you were like younger? How early, if you can remember, how early did you have start just
Yeah.
whatever it was?
Yeah, I feel like, growing up, always playing with baby dolls, playing house, things like that. I think I always had the idea that one day I would be a mom, and I never thought that I wouldn't. I always knew that was something. I was somebody, I didn't want to get married, but I wanted kids.
Wait.
I didn't need to be married.
You didn't need to be
I wanted a wedding, but I didn't want, I wanted to have a wedding. I didn't want to be married.
Okay.
In my opinion, I don't want that. That was not part of my life.
Okay.
But like the whole kid, like I didn't want to be a wife. But also growing up, I didn't really see people being wives. You know what I mean? And in my world, you could have a kid and not be married. I mean, I was primarily raised by a single mom.
How how would you describe the relationship you have with your mom? It sounds like from what you said already that you had a great relationship with your mom.
Yes, my mother is my ride or die.
Mhm. Mhm.
We talk at least 5 times a day.
Mhm.
I'm
Love
not
that.
codependent, don't worry.
I love that.
Not codependent, it's healthy.
Mhm.
We mostly just talk on FaceTime about random
Uh-huh.
things,
Whatever,
like,
you know. Uh-huh.
true crime.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
And, if I were to murder somebody, she would have my back. So things like that, nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy. That's
Yeah.
wild. But I feel like I want to go back because you're like, yeah, I don't need the man, but I'm gonna have the baby. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have that wedding, but we don't gotta do.
Yeah, like, I was always, like, obsessed, fascinated with weddings, like, I even to this day, like, I can appreciate a lavish wedding,
Mhm.
like, it's so gorgeous, but
Mhm.
I never saw anybody be a wife.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, it wasn't, like, everybody in my world. My aunt was a strong influence in my life.
Mhm.
She wasn't married, and
Mhm.
she had 3 kids.
Mhm.
My mom wasn't married, she had my sister and I.
Mhm.
My grandmother was married, but my mom and her siblings were raised by their stepfather.
Mhm.
So, it was one of those things where I can be a mom,
Mhm.
and I don't have to worry about having a husband.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about as you got a little bit older, right? Because are you married today?
Yes, I am married
Okay, all
today.
right. So,
Happily married. Have been married for almost 9 years.
mhm.
I've been with my husband for 11
Mhm.
years.
Mhm.
Happily married. Love
Mhm.
that man.
Mhm. Mhm.
He truly is my best friend.
Uh-huh. At what point were you like, okay, I'm open to the idea of marriage? When did that come about?
So it was more when I met the right person. So
Mhm.
like I dated barely.
Mhm.
I dated, but my husband and I we were very young when we got married.
Mhm.
And when we got together when we were 21.
Mhm.
So, I mean, yeah, as a teenager, you're not really thinking about that.
Mhm.
You have little crushes, little datings, whatever.
Mhm.
My husband and I, we got together when we were 21, and then we were both living with our parents at the time, and we
Mhm.
decided we were going to move in together.
Mhm.
And it's funny because my father has had, lots of kids out of wedlock, all this stuff. And when my husband and I moved in together, he's like, "Oh, so you're living in sin now?" And I said, "Excuse me, what?" So we were living in sin. Also, my husband's father is like, "So when are you guys getting married?"
Mhm.
And we're like, "We just moved in together. It's okay. We only moved in together because we like each other. It's cheaper that way. We can afford it.
Mhm.
We don't want to live with our parents forever."
Mhm.
And then after we had started living together a couple months, I came to my husband. I was like, "So we're gonna get married next August. So figure it out."
That's what you went to him and said.
Yes. Turns out we got married the following August, so it's fine. We've been together ever since.
Okay. How did you and your husband meet?
So we've known each other since middle school, high school.
Okay.
We did not date in high school or middle school or anything like that.
Uh-huh.
We were friends with the same people.
Uh-huh.
Like we had little interactions here and there, but
Mhm.
nothing like I knew of him, he knew of me. If you
Mhm.
ask him, he says that he would have tried to date me in high school. I don't believe it one bit. But like
Okay, so were you 2 just, like, in passing in high school? It wasn't
yes,
okay, okay,
yeah,
okay,
like,
okay.
we were friends, but, like, not really,
Uh-huh,
like, we would be at the same place at the same time because
uh,
we were friends with the same
uh-huh,
people,
uh-huh.
but, like, he played football and wrestled and all this stuff, and I was like, this little nerdy kid who was not very outspoken.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, we knew of each other, we hung out with the same groups of people.
Mhm,
And also he was a grade younger than me because his birthday's in October. So
mhm,
we're the same age, but he graduated after me.
mhm, mhm,
So, kind of same people, all that I knew of him. One of my friends actually dated him for like a month our senior year,
mhm.
things like that. And then we left high school. And I, went off to college and all of that. And one day I was on Facebook and he slid into my DMs before it was a thing. I think he like poked me on Facebook or something like that because back in the day you could
Poke.
do that.
I remember that.
Yeah, you could poke people on Facebook. So
I remember that.
he poked me on Facebook and it was like a back and forth thing for a while and then we started talking and I was like, "Oh, he's kind of cool."
At the poke, did you see marriage?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So never marriage was not on the table. We were
Mhm,
just, talking, hanging out. Our first date, I honestly did not even know that it was a date.
mhm,
I thought that we were just hanging out, going to go have some fun.
mhm.
And like I had no idea that it was a date. And then
Did
like
he
he
did
kissed me and I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess we're on a date." And then he tried to break up with me a month later. Yeah, he tried to break up with me a month later because he wanted to go on a date with this, like, girl from church or something. I don't even know. And I was like, okay." So then I, like, met up with him. He tried to break up with me over a text message, and I was like I met up with him in person that night, and I was like, "Yeah, no, we're not doing that." I
Mhm.
was like, "We're not doing that. We're not breaking up. So, guess you're stuck with me." So, yeah, been together ever
You've been
since.
together ever since.
Ever since.
I love that.
I bought a car and started dating my husband on the same day. So, I don't have the car any longer, but I have the husband.
That's great.
Yes. Yes.
I love that. I'm cracking up. But you okay, so then you get married.
Got married, yes.
What was there ever a conversation about children before you got married, or did that come after?
So my husband and I, when we were dating, after he tried to break up with me, of course, when we were dating, we were very intentional
Mhm.
from the beginning.
Mhm.
We would always do we would go to the bookstore and get like one of those books, like so many questions to ask your significant other or whatever. And
Mhm.
we would literally, like, as we were dating, we were still living with our parents. We would sit in the driveway in our car and like just go through these questions and ask each other like these off the wall questions that like why are two 21-year-olds who are dating are asking each other
Mhm.
these
Mhm.
questions,
Mhm.
but it was always very intentional.
Mhm.
So we when we were dating we did speak about like one day because I backing up, I very much feel that if you are going to be married, you need to have the same values
Mhm.
and same goals as your partner.
Mhm.
And I think that's one of the reasons why we're so
Mhm.
intentional. But we spoke about, one day we do want to have children.
Mhm.
How many, that was never discussed,
Mhm.
but children were in the cards
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
us,
Mhm.
whatever that looked like.
Mhm.
Yes. So
Mhm.
we talked about it
Mhm.
before and then after we got married too, we talked about it too.
Mhm.
I think at the time I was on birth control, and after we had gotten married, we're like, okay, like what does that look like for us? When does it look like us moving forward and trying to start a family?
Mhm. Mhm.
So we definitely had those conversations,
Yeah.
and then we decided. Let's see. I got married in 2017. So in 2018 sometime we decided, okay, we're going to do this.
Mhm.
So I got my birth control out. I had the one that goes in your arm.
Mhm.
I had that. And everybody's like, "Oh, as soon as you get that out, you're going to get pregnant right away."
That's what
I
everybody
know.
said.
I know all these people who they got it out the next month they were pregnant
Mhm.
and this that and the other. I was like, "Okay, cool."
Uh, so you know a lot of people, and that was their experience, that
Yes.
they took theirs out and then boom, bam, they were pregnant.
Yes.
The question that came to my mind was, what were your thoughts? Like, what were your when you decided, okay, I'm taking this out, or even before when you made the decision, okay, we're gonna try.
Mhm.
What did you think was good? How did you think that that would look? What were your expectations? Maybe is a better.
My expectations, I mean, I had never seen anybody in my family that didn't
Mhm.
have children.
Mhm. Not one
Um,
person.
not I mean, like, yeah, there's aunts that, have been single this whole time and, they don't have children, but I had never seen anybody in my immediate family.
And, like, struggle, I don't even
Yes.
wanna do that because it's
Yes.
real. There's
No.
no air quotes,
Yes.
but you didn't you didn't see a challenge for anybody. If
Correct.
they wanted it
Yes.
or whatever, it
Yes.
just
If you wanted
fell.
to have a kid, you were having a kid.
Mhm, mhm,
So my expectation was, okay, I'm going to get this out. I'm going to get pregnant. We're going to have some kids. We'll go from there.
mm,
I did know that my mom, she had miscarriages
mm, mhm,
previously,
mhm,
but that's kind of all I
mhm,
knew.
mhm,
I didn't know really anything else at that point.
mhm.
Now looking back on it, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I know all these things."
Yeah.
But then I just thought, "Okay, I'm not on birth control." And I mean, when you're younger, they tell you, "Oh my gosh, you can get pregnant at any time and you gotta be
Look,
careful."
don't get pregnant.
Yes, yes. Don't get
That's what
pregnant.
I don't know about you, that's
No, yes.
the girls were told, "Don't get pregnant."
Yes.
And the guys are told, "Wrap it up."
Yes, exactly. And, like, in my mind, okay, yeah, you have unprotected sex, you're gonna get pregnant.
Mhm,
That's
mhm,
it.
mhm.
Unprotected sex, pregnant. That's it. So I never thought that it would be any type of a struggle, any type of a waiting,
Mhm,
anything like
mhm,
that.
mhm.
And I had this expectation of what my life was going to look like.
Okay.
I was going to, get married. Well, I guess after I found my husband, I was getting
Mhm,
married.
mhm,
But we were going to have kids. And then I didn't know what was next, but we were having kids.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah. And then when I guess we started trying things like that.
You took your birth control out,
Mhm.
and then you just immediately started to
Yes.
were you were did you have any knowledge about what you needed to do to, like, get pregnant or increase the chances of
No.
okay,
No.
okay,
Nothing at all.
okay.
Nothing at all.
You just were
I
like,
was just like, "Okay,
"We just need to
we're
be
gonna
having sex."
yeah. Yeah, we're gonna just have sex. We're gonna get pregnant." So then, a couple months go by
Mhm.
and nothing's happening.
How old were you at this time?
Let's see. This was 2018, so I was probably 24,
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
going on 25.
mhm,
So
mhm,
not that old,
mhm, yeah,
especially, to
yeah,
know what's happening.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So, yeah, 24, 25.
Mhm,
And where things are just moving very slow.
mhm,
So I had my annual visit with my gynecologist coming up. So I was like, well, I'll just talk to them
mhm,
about it.
mhm.
So I, like talk to them and they're like, oh yeah, they tell me about ovulation. And I mean, like, obviously I knew what ovulation
Yes,
was,
yes.
but they told me about like, the ovulation testing and things like that. And they told me that we needed to try for at least a year before I could get a referral to anything
To
else.
anything else.
Yes.
What were your thoughts about did you think anything about that when they told you that at 24,
Um,
25?
no, I was just like, okay,
Mhm,
like we'll go to the drugstore, buy some ovulation tests
mhm,
and
mhm.
go from
Okay.
there. Infertility was never a thought in my mind
Mhm, mhm.
at
Did
all.
you even know that that was a thing before, like, around this time?
So I knew of infertility.
Mhm,
I had my mom loved TLC.
mhm, mhm,
So I'd grown up and, I had seen things on, TLC, people who struggled with infertility, but it was never like a main storyline, if
mhm,
that makes
mhm,
sense. Like it was always like, oh yeah, we're trying to have a baby. Oh yeah, we're doing IVF.
mhm,
But I never fully knew what that world looked like,
mhm,
and I never knew how many women it impacted
mhm,
until, later on.
mhm,
But infertility was never
mhm,
never something that
mhm,
I thought would
mhm,
be part of my journey or my
mhm,
story.
mhm. And would you say because that's what you saw?
Mhm.
That's what you saw in your family and maybe even broader society? I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't wanna speak for you.
Yeah, no,
And
I would
so you
agree.
just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I feel that at that time, and I mean, things have gotten much better now, but at that time, infertility is not something women spoke about
Mhm,
openly.
mhm,
It is not something that was spoken about at all.
Mhm.
So we did our year and all of that, nothing happened.
Mhm.
So we get our referral to the infertility specialist.
Mhm.
We meet with them and they're like, "Oh, you're young, we're gonna do Clomid."
Mhm.
So we did Clomid and timed cycles. That's
Mhm.
what we started with. And then when we started that, everybody's like, people that, so when we started that, I started to hear stories about people who I knew that also had issues having children,
Mhm.
which was very eye opening because until then I knew nobody.
Mhm.
And then we did something. I think we went to like a gala or something. And I found out that a longtime family friend, she's like, "Oh, I saw your picture on this gala page." She's like, "Both of my kids were conceived through this same clinic." And I was
Mhm.
like, "I had no idea."
Okay.
Or even like once we started this, I had another friend who she's like, "Oh, my aunt took Clomid and she had kids right
What
away."
was the Clomid supposed to do?
So it makes you Clomid is a drug that you take and it makes your eggs grow.
Okay.
And then you take a shot that it's called a trigger shot and it
Mhm.
makes you ovulate.
Okay.
So some people can get pregnant on just Clomid alone and timed cycles.
Okay.
So it makes their egg follicles grow.
Mhm.
They take the trigger shot, they have regular sex, and they get pregnant.
Mhm.
Some people, if that doesn't work, they then move you to IUIs or interuterine insemination.
Yes. Mhm.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I know all the catchwords.
Yes.
So, we did the Clomid for a while, and then our doctor's like, "We're gonna do
I'm gonna go
IUIs."
to IUI.
Yes.
How
So,
long would you say you were just doing Clomid for?
Clomid, I think we tried it for 2
Okay.
months.
Okay.
Not crazy
Mhm.
amount of time, just 2 months. But with the IUIs, we still did Clomid, we did the trigger shot, and then we did the IUI. So
Mhm.
it's a very interesting
Mhm.
process.
Mhm. So for the listener
Mhm.
who they just don't know anything,
Yeah.
no female cycle, they say it's what 21 ish or
Yeah, I would say 21 to 32
some yeah.
days. Depends on the woman.
Depends on the person.
Yes,
Everybody's different. Okay,
exactly.
I'm like 28 or
Yeah,
something.
I'm like 28 to 29.
Yeah, yeah, I'm like around that one. But
Mhm.
around what time in your so the start of it, the start of the cycle is when you
Yes.
start to menstruate. I'm sorry,
Yes.
TMI,
No, it's
but
fine, yeah.
this is smart.
So and it's very interesting because once you start assisted reproductive technologies,
Mhm.
you wouldn't think about it, but there's a lot of times you're put on birth control.
Mhm.
And it's kind of crazy because you're like, "Oh, well, why am I on birth control? I'm trying to get pregnant." Like,
Mhm.
it's wild to think about.
Mhm.
But there's so many times where, like, whenever you start a cycle, you start on birth control.
Mhm.
So, like, they'll put you on birth control for a cycle
Mhm.
and then they'll take you off. You have your period. So, whenever you're in the weeds,
Mhm.
so for an IUI on day 3, or sorry, is it on day 3? You have to call them the day you start your period,
Okay.
and then on day 3, you have to go in for a scan.
Day one is the start of your cycle, your
Correct.
period.
Yes.
Um, and you call them on day three. My mind is like, when did you do the trigger shot?
Well, that's coming up.
Okay,
Yes.
but day three you call them. What do you
Yes.
call them
Well, no, you
for?
call them on day 1. Day 3, you call them on day 1 to schedule your appointment
Okay,
for day 3.
okay,
Day 3, you go in and you have to have a internal ultrasound
okay.
as a baseline.
Yeah,
And it's never fun because you're on your
it's
period.
horrific.
Yeah, you're on your period. Like, why did you wanna do this? So, they get a baseline ultrasound and
Mhm.
then,
What are they looking for in that?
they're looking at your ovaries, they're
Mhm.
looking at, your different follicles, things like that,
Mhm.
your uterus lining, they measure your uterine lining,
Mhm.
things like that
Mhm.
on day 3.
Mhm.
So then then they're like, okay, you're going to start your Clomid on this day.
Mhm.
And you're taking your pills every day. And then I think I want to say it's at day 10 or
Um,
day 15. It's been a while since I've
mhm.
taken one.
Got it.
But at day 10 or 15, you have to do your trigger shot.
And what does the trigger shot do?
It so I guess before you take your trigger shot, you have to go back in and you have to get another ultrasound to make sure that your follicles are growing, that there's something in there.
Mhm.
And then they'll tell you what day to take your trigger shot. The trigger shot basically tells your body to release the
Okay.
eggs. So you take your trigger shot, it's in your stomach. Is it in your stomach? It's in your stomach. I'm gonna say it's in your stomach.
Mhm.
You take your trigger shot and it releases your eggs. So the office coordinates when you take that shot because you have to coordinate with your husband, got to coordinate with the office
Mhm.
because the day so many days within that, your husband goes in, you got to get there early. Husband goes in and he gets escorted to a little room
Mhm.
and he has to provide his specimen.
Mhm.
Now, sometimes they let your husband provide his specimen at home,
Mhm.
but then when you go to the office, you have to keep it at body temperature.
Mhm.
So there have been plenty of times where we're going to the office. I got a little cup between my boobs, trying to keep it warm. So, where he provides a specimen and then they wash it. So they do a sperm wash
Mhm.
where they basically expectedly know the science, but they
Mhm.
get rid of all the bad ones.
Mhm. Mhm.
So then what they do is they come into the office. You're prepped and ready.
Mhm.
You're there. You got your legs up. You're ready,
Mhm.
and they tell you, oh, your husband's count today was this. What am I going to do with that information? I don't care what his sperm count is. But okay, so they tell you his count was this. And I'm like, great. They tell you the motility of it. Cool. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this
Yeah,
information, but
yeah.
whatever. So then they take like a little catheter, they put it inside of you,
Mhm.
and they put your husband's specimen
Mhm.
inside of you, and
Mhm.
they're like, okay, you're gonna lay there for 10 minutes or something like that.
And then does this happen on the day that your eggs release?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
So it's always timed with the trigger shot.
Mhm.
I don't
Mhm.
remember the exact time frame,
Yes,
but
yes. Okay. Okay.
they're all timed
Okay.
accordingly.
Mhm.
So you go in and then you lay there and they're like, okay, you're free to go about your day.
Mhm.
In so many days, I think it's like 2 weeks,
Mhm.
you can take a pregnancy test, or I think you have to go in to take a blood pregnancy test to see if it
Mhm.
worked.
Mhm. Right now, we're
hmm
still talking about IUI.
We're still talking about
Okay.
IUIs.
Let's continue.
Yeah, so you go in, take your little test, and
Mhm.
then they'll call you that day, tell if you're pregnant
Mhm.
or you're not. We did, and then if you're not, you go on birth control, and then you start the whole cycle
You
over.
started over.
Yes. We ended up doing 3
Okay.
IUIs.
Okay. Tell
Yes.
me, because it's important
Mhm.
when you're starting with Clomid, and then
Mhm.
you're moving because you just have to go through the process. That's
Yes.
um they make you do that.
Yes, well, not everybody do they make do that. I
Okay.
think, some people they do go straight to IVF,
Mhm.
and there are different factors. Age is one of them. If you're having issues with your tubes, so before we even got to the IUIs and
Mhm.
all of
Mhm.
that, I had to do testing. My husband and I both had to do genetic testing
Mhm.
to see if there was any genetic incompatibilities that we weren't uh getting pregnant,
Mhm.
or if we were to have a kid, would there be something genetically wrong with it?
Mhm.
I had to go through crazy amounts of testing where I had to have my thyroid checked. I had to have so many blood tests done to make sure that all of my levels were good. I had to have tests where they put dye inside of me to make sure that my fallopian tubes
Mhm.
were
Mhm.
open.
Mhm.
There's just so much testing. So I think that certain people, if they find something during these tests, these initial tests, they're like, okay, nope, that's not going to work. We're moving you straight to IVF.
Okay.
For me, though, I was young
Mhm.
and they're like, you're fine.
Yeah.
Everything should be working.
Yeah. That's less so I'm just thinking about the increase in cost as you increase in the
Yes.
process. What
Yes.
was, like, the difference between just doing Clomid and then moving to IUI, if you can remember?
Clomid was just a prescription, and
Mhm.
a lot of insurance companies cover
They
Clomid.
cover it, okay.
Yeah. I remember my IUIs, I wanna say they were about $1,000
Mhm.
each,
Okay,
and you have to pay extra for the sperm wash.
okay.
I don't know why I feel that it should be included, but we had to pay extra for that. I think it was
Mhm,
like $300 or
mhm,
something like
mhm,
that. So definitely, and a lot of my initial testing, a lot of insurance companies will cover infertility testing.
mhm,
They will not cover infertility treatments,
mhm,
but they will cover the testing,
mhm,
which doesn't make any sense to
mhm,
me,
mhm,
but here we are.
mhm.
So I think IUIs, I want to say they were about $1,000
Okay, okay.
each.
So you and your husband I just realized, I don't think we ever said what's your husband's name?
Oh, my husband's name is Kyle.
Okay. You and Kyle, you do 3
3
IUI
IUIs.
cycles,
Yes.
okay, and is this, like, 3 months in a row, or are you s do
They were they were slightly spaced out,
okay,
but not they were all within the same 6-month time
okay,
frame.
okay, okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. And
So
then
go ahead,
I guess I wanna go, like, backstory, so, like, we're doing these
go ahead.
IUIs, but I am then, looking more into the infertility and
Mhm,
this, that, and the other.
mhm,
I'm learning more about it.
mhm,
Also, I remember saying something, everybody's like, oh, you'll be fine, this, that, and the other.
mhm,
I remember saying something to my mom one day. So my mom never knew anything about infertility. And as you guys know, my mom is my ride or die.
mhm,
And I remember saying something to her one day about, oh, yeah, I have infertility. My mom's like, no, you don't have infertility.
mhm,
And I said, no, I do.
mhm,
And it took a conversation with her, and I had to not only I'm learning resources for myself,
mhm,
but I needed to then find resources for my mom to understand
mhm,
what infertility looked like.
mhm,
And I
mhm.
mean,
And what was your mom, receptive and open?
oh, yes.
Yes.
My mom there was one time my husband couldn't come to, like, an appointment with me, and my mother came with me
Mhm, mhm,
because she's like, after but it took her taking a step back, and I'm
mhm.
so grateful that I have the mother that I do
Yes, yes,
because I don't believe that everybody else has this
yes.
support,
Mhm,
but it took her taking a step back and us having a conversation,
mhm,
and me, like, telling her more about what infertility is,
mhm,
and then her like, me giving her the resources, listen to, like, these things, like, there were a couple podcasts that I told her, "Hey, listen to these podcasts,
mhm,
look into this, read about this,"
mhm,
and
and
it
she did.
took her yes, she very much did,
Mhm,
she was like, "Okay, I understand
mhm,
now,"
mhm. I love that.
but it was very much a learning curve
Yeah,
for all of
everybody.
us, yes,
Mhm,
and but during this time too with the IUIs, I was very much a person that said, "Okay, if this doesn't work, I'm not doing IVF.
mhm,
That's not something that I wanna do in my
mhm,
life.
mhm.
I'm not doing it."
Why was there a line?
I felt that from what I knew about IVF is that 1, it was very expensive.
Mhm,
2, it is not covered by insurance.
mhm,
Most insurances, it's not covered by insurance.
mhm,
And 3, at that time, I didn't wanna put my body through it.
mhm,
A lot of, people that, I had seen who had done IVF later, had breast cancer,
mhm,
and that's not something that I wanted to deal with.
mhm,
I didn't want to pump myself full of all these drugs and not knowing what the end result would be. Um, just like later down the road, I had seen a couple people on TV, TLC. So my mom used to watch Juliana and Bill,
mhm,
and Juliana, she did IVF, and
mhm,
then like later on in some seasons later, she had breast cancer.
mhm.
My mom also loved Little People, the Little Couple, sorry, the
Uh-huh,
Little Couple.
mhm. I know. I like them.
And Dr. Jen, she did IVF.
Mhm,
Later down the road, she had breast cancer.
mhm,
And that's just one of those things that I'm like, okay, IVF, breast cancer.
mhm,
I don't want to deal with that.
mhm, mhm,
So, and even now as an adult, as I've met more people who have done done IVF, things like that. My boss actually, so both of her kids are IVF babies.
Mhm.
My boss, she had both of her kids, and then she actually was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Wow.
So it's one of those things that I was like, nope, not doing IVF. I don't want to do that.
Mhm.
So do all the IUIs,
Mhm.
and then they
What
didn't
are your
work.
thoughts? Yes, yes, they didn't work.
They didn't work.
What were you feeling when IUIs were not working?
Yeah. I think my biggest thing was, okay, what is wrong?
Mhm.
What why isn't this working?
Mhm.
Everybody says that this is going to work. So why
Mhm.
isn't it?
Mhm.
I then did a lot of research outside of it. I was like very heavy into like, finding other people who have experienced
Mhm.
infertility because again, in my world, there was
There's
nobody,
nobody.
nobody to speak to about it,
Mhm.
nobody who had this
Mhm.
same
Mhm.
experience. So going through that, I was just desperate to find other women who had experienced it.
Mhm.
And then as I went through it, I would see people saying, the women who get pregnant on IUIs are unicorns because it doesn't work for most people
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
things like that. So, and like if you get pregnant on an IUI, I am so happy for you.
Yeah.
Like you're blessed.
Yeah.
But for a lot of women, IUIs don't work.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it was a very stressful time
Mhm.
for me just
Mhm.
trying to find other people who had a same or shared experience.
How did you go about looking for these people? Were there resources in the infertility clinics? What did you do?
So an infertility clinic, at least in my opinion,
Mhm.
is one of the loneliest places in the entirety of the world.
Wow.
And it's you would think that
Wow.
it would be somewhere where,
Why
like,
do you say
these
yeah.
women are, like, speaking to each other, things like that,
Mhm.
but in reality, they're not. And this is, like, the one place where we all have the same shared experience. We're all here for the same reason. And, like, I would go in, and I would sit there, and you would see other women there. Nobody would talk to each other. People wouldn't even look at each
Wouldn't
other.
even look at
And I
each
think
other.
it's because
Wow.
so many people feel so lonely
Mhm.
and you have self-doubt during that
Mhm.
time. You're
Mhm.
so stressed
Mhm.
out and you're just not in a place where, at least for me, I wasn't in a place where I wanted to make a connection with somebody else,
Mhm.
especially in the infertility clinic,
Mhm.
where I should have because those are the people who dealing with the same
Mhm.
things.
And another issue that comes up, as you may know, is shame.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, people won't even, the women in there, they won't even look at one another. It's like,
Mhm.
I wonder, is there also some shame on top of
Yes.
that? It's like,
Yes. Why doesn't my body work the
mm,
way it's
mhm,
supposed
mhm,
to?
mhm.
Yes,
This
that
isn't
is
even a time where we can come and support one another
yes.
as we're here for the
Yes.
same. We're just,
Yes. I think at that point, I mean, I felt broken.
mhm,
Like, I felt broken. I think that's the only way to describe it.
mhm, mhm,
Um, and not only, like, mentally, but physically.
mhm.
Why doesn't my body work?
Yeah.
So my resources were not the fertility clinic.
Mhm,
My resources were looking more on the internet,
mm,
social media.
mhm,
I found a couple good podcasts.
mm,
One very similar to this where the person she had her children through IVF.
mhm,
She had gone through the process, but she would bring on people who have shared experiences and
mhm,
they would tell their stories.
mhm,
And just listening to that
mhm,
and knowing, okay, I'm not alone.
mhm,
And I mean, and
mhm,
this was 2018 before,
mhm.
and I mean, is infertility awareness as big as it should be? No.
No,
But it's way bigger now than it was in
it's growing.
2018.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
so it was 2018.
mhm.
So just like listening to other people's stories and understanding that, like, did I have friends who I could actually speak to? Absolutely not. But
You didn't have it, not one friend?
not, well, I mean, I had friends who I could talk to,
Mhm.
but not friends with shared
Mhm.
experiences, and
Mhm.
I think that's the key.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
I have a best friend, she and I have been friends since 6th
Mhm.
grade. I could call her right now and say, "Hey, I need you right now."
Mhm.
And she would be there. She would drop everything. She has 2 kids. She
Mhm.
would drop everything to be right there.
Mhm.
Vice versa. If she called me right now, I'd be there.
Mhm.
No questions asked.
Mhm.
And she was very much like we would talk a lot during it, but she did not have that shared
Mhm.
experience. I did not have anyone who had that shared
Mhm.
experience. And I think now looking back on it, that's why I've always been very open about my infertility struggles
Mhm.
because I may be that person's only shared
Mhm.
experience. And
Mhm.
I know how lonely
Mhm.
it is.
Mhm.
So a lot of my stuff was just listening to other people's stories,
Mhm.
under like doing research on my own,
Mhm.
finding out anything that I
Mhm.
can
Mhm.
to make me at least feel like I wasn't
Wow.
alone. Yes.
I'll tell you,
Yes.
something for everybody. I believe this podcast, I believe the Lord gave this to me when I was the loneliest ever. So,
Mm,
because it's like no way should anybody be walking this kind of journey out
mm-hmm.
by themselves. And it's not that you were by yourself because your husband was there. But
Yes.
it's different. Your husband can't
Yes.
go to the levels that somebody, a
Yes.
woman who sat in your seat
Mhm.
could, right? It's
Yes.
just they can't be everything to you
Yes. Well,
that
and my husband and I, we have this talk, or we've had this conversation over the years too, where uh like I'll say something and he will say, "Well, I've experienced infertility too."
Mhm,
And I have always said, "I'm not invalidating that you've experienced infertility,
mhm,
but it's not the same because it's not your body
mhm,
that has had to go through
mhm, mhm,
what my body has gone
mhm,
through."
mhm,
So, yes, he has had to experience the highs, the lows. He's had to, I mean, this man would wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to give me shots,
mhm, mhm,
but his body
mhm,
was not the issue.
mhm.
His
It's
body did not have to be put through
mhm,
what my body was put through.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
And I think that's very different.
mhm.
Not
Yes,
to invalidate him,
yes.
but very, very
Mhm.
different.
It is different. So how did he support you? How did your husband support you?
So I'm an auditory learner.
Mhm,
I remember everything that I hear.
mhm.
Probably not to his delight, but there are things in my brain that I can pull out from 11 years ago, and he's like, "How do you remember that?" Listen, it's just here. It's just filed away.
Yeah.
So, I remember one time very early on, and sorry, my watch is like going crazy. I remember one time very early on in our journey where he and we were talking in our apartment. We were
Mhm,
talking, having a conversation. Or I guess were we in our we were somewhere. We were having a conversation. And I said something about, okay, what happens if we don't have kids? What does this look like?
mhm,
And I remember verbatim my husband said, so we have a dog named Rocky. He's perfect and we love him.
mhm,
But I remember verbatim, my husband said, having Rocky will not be enough for me,
mhm,
that I need to have kids.
mhm,
I remember this.
mhm,
Was it a moment of like, maybe he shouldn't have said that?
mhm.
Probably. Looking back on it, he's like, well, like, fine. But I remember that, and that is still with me to this day,
Yeah.
that I remember him telling me
Mhm.
that having our dogs would not be enough.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, though, my husband is my greatest cheerleader.
Mhm, mhm.
Um,
What if you can think back to that time,
mhm.
what was he doing? Like, what could he we you understand what I'm
Yeah,
asking?
no, I get it
Like, what
completely.
was it
Yeah.
so that I don't know, for
We would,
husbands who are
yeah, no,
listening.
we would we would speak about things. Listen, I feel so bad for him, for
Mhm,
me during that time because you're on so many hormones.
mhm.
I was insane. I was emotional. I was crazy. I had all kinds of mood swings.
Mhm,
honestly, it's a miracle we're still married.
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
But, I mean, just being there to support me, going to the doctor's appointments,
mhm,
being there when every single time we took a test and it was negative,
mhm,
just me crying,
mhm, mhm,
just being there to I mean, it really helped that he was my best friend
mhm, mhm,
because he truly did walk with me through
mhm,
it. Even, like, when we eventually got to IVF, giving me my shot. I couldn't give myself a shot.
mhm, mhm,
I could not,
mhm,
absolutely not.
mhm,
And when you do that, we'll talk about it a little later, but when you do that, you have to have shots at the same time every single day.
mhm,
And there was one point in time where I could take my shots in the evening, and then there was some testing, and they're like, "No, you have to do it in the morning." This man would get up at 4:45 every single morning to go get my array of shots together. He would come in while I was sleeping.
mhm,
He would be like, "Okay, babe, I'm gonna give you your shots." I would literally be sleeping, and he would just give me my shots while I'm sleeping.
mhm, mhm,
I If that's not love, I don't know what
mhm,
is.
mhm. I love that.
But just supporting and, like, the shots are painful.
Mhm,
They
mhm.
are not fun,
Yeah.
especially when you're getting them constantly
Mhm,
every day, like,
mhm.
it is not fun.
Yeah.
So there were times where, like, I would have bruises
Mhm,
from all the
mhm.
shots, and just, like, being there with somebody to lean on,
Yeah.
it was very helpful.
Mhm,
Again, our experiences were not the same,
mhm,
but, it was very helpful to have him there
mhm,
and feel like I did have a partner
mhm,
in that, and that was supporting me. But even at the end of the day, like, after every cycle, he would be like, "Okay, the ball's in your court.
mm,
What do you want to do
mhm,
next?"
mhm.
Um
He let it be your choice.
Yes,
Mhm,
yes, it was always my choice. Even when I ultimately decided that I didn't wanna do it anymore,
mhm,
it was my
mhm,
choice, which I very much appreciate.
mhm, mhm,
He was never pressuring me, we always had a conversation about it, and even to this day, if I told him, "Hey, I wanna do it again," he would be like, it would be a conversation,
mhm,
and it would be, at the end of the day, ultimately my choice. Like,
mhm,
obviously, we would talk about financial stuff and all of that, but at the end of the day, it would be my choice. Because it's my body that has to go through it.
mhm,
So, yeah.
mhm. So 2 things, because I wanna get to I wanna get to when you made the decision to do IVF because you were so against it, and that's
Mhm,
I'm not doing that. That was your red line or your line in the sand.
mhm.
But on this thing about loneliness, did you ever feel like you got to a place where the loneliness decreased or went to a like it or even just
No,
wasn't there? No, you
no.
never got there.
I was all as long as I call it being in the trenches. As long as I was
Woo!
in the trenches, I never was not at that place.
I love that you said that. So,
Yes.
it's like it really you're in the
You
trenches.
are, you
You
are.
are in the trenches.
Yes, yes, and
Wow.
as long as I was in the trenches, I was always in that mindset and
Wow.
that headspace.
Wow.
It wasn't until I decided that I had enough
Mhm.
that I it was just like a freeing, and
Mhm.
I was just like, "Okay."
Mhm.
I mean, it wasn't fully freeing,
Mhm.
but and we'll get to
Mhm.
all that, but it wasn't until I walked away and pulled myself out of that, and then I was like, "Okay."
Mhm.
But then I think then it was a different kind of
Mhm.
loneliness because by that point, my friends had started having children,
Mhm.
and then it's like, well, my friends have kids.
Mhm.
I don't have any kids.
Mhm.
I don't have friends that don't have
Mhm.
kids.
Mhm.
So what does that look like?
Yeah.
So I think it kind of shifted. At
Mhm.
this point right now, I'm not lonely.
Mhm.
I live a very full life.
We're getting there. We're
We'll get
getting to
there.
the day. We're
But
talking about the trenches right
but
now.
yeah, no, those
I
trenches.
just it definitely feels like
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
when you're trying it's you have I mean, I like to laugh.
Mhm.
It's like we're laughing, but
Yeah.
I wasn't
Oh,
laughing in those
I was not laughing in those trenches.
not laughing in those trenches.
It was a lot of tearful nights,
Mhm.
a lot of journaling,
Mhm.
a lot of very angry prayers to the Lord.
Mhm. Thank you. I'm so glad you
Very
went
angry
there.
prayers.
When you be okay, so in this time when you're in the trenches, you
Mhm.
were a believer. You
Yes.
had already given your life to the Lord, all
Yeah.
that stuff. Um, and so where was the Lord in all of, well, focusing on
Yes.
IUI and you them saying, okay, you're gonna
Mhm.
get this diagnosis that's horrific, by
Mhm.
the way, and like what was going on? Let's talk
Yeah.
about
I
that for a
mean,
little.
I was always a believer.
Mhm,
Was I angry at the Lord? Absolutely.
mhm, mhm,
Absolutely.
mhm. Did you feel
Why?
like you could be angry at the Lord?
I mean, did I think that it was right? Probably not. But that's where I
That's where you
was.
were.
That's where I was. And I felt that the Lord would rather me give him an angry prayer and be angry with him
Hmm.
than not believe in him at all.
Period.
Yes.
Period.
He would rather me be angry
Mhm, mhm.
than me just be like, "You know what? I don't believe in you. I'm done."
So what did your time with the Lord, your worship, your praise, what was that like?
I don't know that there was a lot of
Okay.
praise.
Mhm.
It was more I had like a prayer journal,
Okay. Mhm.
and it was more just
It was a lot of prayer. That's
it was prayer.
mhm.
It was not happy prayer.
Mhm. Mhm.
It was mostly like, "Why am I here?
Mhm.
Why am I in this
Mhm.
position?
Mhm.
Why is this
Mhm.
not working?
Mhm.
Why if you can just give me this thing, this is my heart's desire. If you
Mhm.
can give me this, then we
Mhm.
can do whatever." Bargaining with the Lord.
Mhm.
It was very a very angry time for
Mhm.
me.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
There was no praise.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No Thanksgiving.
Yeah, yeah. That's hard.
It is.
That's really hard. And
Yes.
for me, just a little bit, I didn't feel like I could be angry with the Lord,
Mhm.
but I was. I was
Mhm.
like, you know, I was.
Mhm.
And it took me some time to really get to a place where I was like, this is what you're getting right now.
Mhm.
And you can handle it.
Mhm.
I now know you can handle it, and I should, you would prefer for me to be here like this than for me to be here with a bow faking
Yes.
it, you
Yes.
know. Um, but I love that you were praying.
Mhm.
You were doing what you could
Yes.
do.
Yes.
So when did the decision come for you all to make that leap to
S
go IVF?
so, we after the IUIs did not work,
Mhm.
they did more testing,
Mhm.
and we found out that I have, 1, I have PCOS.
Mhm.
So, for anybody who doesn't know, polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Mhm.
My ovaries grow cysts.
Mhm.
It's a great time.
Mhm.
Um, but also we found out that I have a low ovarian reserve.
Mhm.
So I have
And
much fewer
okay.
eggs than a normal woman
That's
does.
what that means. To have a low ovarian
Yes.
reserve is that you
Yes.
have fewer eggs than
Yes.
somebody that's like your age or
Correct.
okay. Mhm.
Yes. So they told me that I would likely start menopause in my late 30s.
Mhm.
Which I don't know if y'all know, but most people don't go into menopause until late 40s, early
Mhm.
50s.
Mhm.
I will be in menopause in my late 30s, early
Mhm. Mhm.
40s. So when they told us that, they're like, your best chance is to do IVF.
Mhm.
They're like, most people who do IVF, well, they didn't even say most people. People who do IVF, they explained it and they're like, you get a baby.
Mhm.
What was not explained to me
Mhm.
is that IVF is no guarantee.
Thank you. That's what my brain was like. So did they guarantee that
No. But it was not explained
it
to
wasn't
me
explained
that IVF was no guarantee. And these podcasts that I had been listening to and these resources, oh,
mhm,
everybody, they just do IVF, they get
and they
pregnant,
got a baby.
they get a baby.
So
I
was it your thoughts? Was it then your expectation that I'm going to do IVF and I'm getting this baby? My dream is
yes,
coming true. No
yes,
doubts about it. Okay.
exactly. Then they tell you how much IVF costs.
Mhm.
IVF is about $20,000. Well, at
Mhm.
least in
In
2018,
20
2019,
Mhm.
it was about $20,000.
Yeah, yeah.
And my husband and I were young. We don't have $20,000.
Yeah.
Where are we gonna get $20,000 from?
Yeah.
So I was at this weird spot in my life, which by the grace of God, listen, I was at this weird spot in my life where I was 25, going on 26.
Mhm.
I had my own health insurance through work,
Mhm.
but I was also, even though I was married, I was still on my mother's health insurance
Mhm.
because her health insurance, even though I was married, as long as I was under the age of
Mhm.
26, I could be on it.
Mhm.
And it cost her the same price to have my sister and I on it as it would be if it was just my sister.
Mhm.
So my mom's like, "Sure, I'll keep you on there. I don't care.
Mhm.
It's the same price. I have to have your sister anyways."
Mhm.
So I was in this weird space where I had double insurance coverage. When they ran my insurance, I had an IVF benefit
Mhm.
where it would cover the procedure, but it wouldn't cover the medication.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, $20,000 is taken care of.
Mhm.
So that kind of been like, okay, I can get a baby. I have a benefit. And most women do not have benefits at all.
No,
By the grace of God, I
definitely
had a
don't.
benefit.
Yeah.
I do not know how, by the grace of God, I had that benefit.
Mhm.
Um, so the $20,000 was covered. And I told my husband, I was like, I want to try this. I was like, I don't want to look back on life and say, I did not try everything.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I don't know exactly when that mind shift shifted. Um, but at that point, being in the trenches, I did not want to look back and say, "Oh, I never did that."
Mhm. Mhm.
Because I'm an overachiever.
Mhm.
I wanted to say I did everything that was possible.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, we took it to my family and we're like, we can do this, but we don't have the money to
Mhm.
pay for the medication.
Mhm.
So my mom, she gave us some money towards the medication.
Mhm.
My dad and stepmom put the rest on their credit card.
Mhm. Mhm.
And we were able to move forward and we were able to order, I think it was like $5,872 worth of IVF medicine.
You place the order for your medications yourself,
So,
or you do it through the
there is the fertility clinic,
okay.
they will put the orders in, and
Okay.
there's a special fertility pharmacy
Mhm.
that contacts you,
Okay.
and they place the order with you,
Mhm.
and you then, you have to pay for it,
Mhm. Mhm.
and they then send you this giant box oops, sorry. They send you this giant box
Mhm.
that's cold because some of the medicines have to be cold,
Mhm.
and you you have to get it, and you just have this whole pharmacy in your house.
Now the medications, was it enough for just the cycle that you were like one cycle or
It was enough for so you get certain medications,
Mhm.
that certain ones you have enough for more than one cycle.
Okay.
Other ones, you have to get it every cycle.
Were all these medication shots?
I believe there was one pill,
One
but
pill.
all the rest were shots.
Did you have to take all these shots in one day or certain shots depending on where you were in your
You had
cycle?
to take certain shots depending on where you were in your cycle,
Mhm.
and certain ones were different times of the day.
Okay. Mm.
It's a very
Okay.
strong commitment.
Okay. Okay.
It's a commitment
Mhm. Mhm.
because you have to time them, things like that.
Mhm.
Certain ones have to be taken this time, but then you also have to take it at this time.
Mhm.
And they're all in your stomach
Mhm.
or in your butt.
Mhm. Okay.
Um, yeah, it's a lot.
Mhm.
It's not enjoyable. But it's just constant.
Mhm.
And then, like, during that too, you're being pumped full of so many things
Mhm.
that you're hormonal.
Mhm.
You wanna eat things that are
Mhm.
weird,
Mhm. Mhm.
and you're it's a lot. I'll tell you that after doing IVF with all the medication, I actually gained 100 pounds.
Wow.
I gained
Wow.
100 pounds.
Wow. Thinking back to your first I want you to talk about the process because this is
Okay,
your process and I wasn't
okay.
there, but,
No, you're good.
um, there's a point where you have to, I'm assuming it looks a little bit similar to IUI,
Yes.
right? And
So
go ahead.
it's definitely so you start your period, and then
Mhm.
you're like, "Okay." So then and they give you, like, a whole list of all the things that you have to do, and
Mhm.
it's ridiculous trying to remember it all. But you start your period, and then day 3, you go in for your baseline scan, then you start your medicines and things like that, and then you have to go in for a scan every so many days because they need to make sure that your follicle lines are or your follicles are growing. They need to also measure your uterine lining to see what's happening with that. But they're not as concerned about the uterine lining, mostly the follicles. So at this, IVF is multiple parts.
Mhm.
There's the retrieval and then there's the transfer.
Okay.
So retrieval, you're going through all of this stuff. You're taking your meds. You're constantly going back in for check-ins, all of that. And then retrieval day, they finally get them to where they want to be, all your follicles, and then retrieval day comes. And retrieval day, you go in and you're actually put in a twilight sedative state for
Mhm.
this.
Mhm.
So you go in and the doctor will like come in and greet you, all of that. You have to they'll come in and greet you, and then you're in like this whole like you're going into surgery almost, this whole garb going into surgery. So the doctor will come in and greet you, and they'll be like, "Okay, we're gonna, go in to do your retrieval." They put you to sleep, and then they go in and do your retrieval. When you wake up, they tell you how many they got.
Mhm. And
So
the retrieval is
how many follicles, how many eggs they
okay.
got. Now me listening to all my podcasts, I would always hear these women who go into their retrievals. Oh, we got 62 eggs.
Mhm.
62.
So was that your expectation?
I expected to get however many.
Yeah.
When I woke up and all of that, I was told that I got 8.
Mhm.
8.
Wow.
And then just because they got 8 doesn't mean that those 8 will become embryos.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I got 8. And during my retrieval, while I'm in there doing all this, my husband had to go into a room and provide his sample
Mhm.
for what they were going to fertilize these eggs with.
Mhm.
So like not only is like his wife in like a procedure, but also now he has to,
Mhm.
go get the go do the job so that way he can, do something. And it couldn't be me, okay? I'd be too stressed out. I'd be like, nope, we're not doing this. So, after you wake up and everything, some clinics do fresh transfers. My clinic does not do fresh
And
transfers.
what is a fresh
So a
trench?
fresh transfer is whenever they take your eggs and then they start the process. So after you get your embryo or after they retrieve your eggs, then they start the whole fertilization process.
Mhm.
And there's a couple different ways they do it. Some people have to do it with ICSI. I don't exactly know what ICSI stands for, but
Mhm.
ICSI is where they literally take a single sperm and inject it into the egg
Mhm.
in hopes that it fertilizes. Some people, they can just, like, put the sperm in there with the eggs and see what happens.
Mhm.
We were people who they just put the sperm in there with the eggs and see what happened.
Mhm.
And then you get updates.
Okay.
So every day. So, you want, like, day 1, you want this many were fertilized.
Mhm.
Day 2, this many have gotten to this stage. Day 3, this many have gotten to this stage. So, like, you're still very much in it even
Mhm.
though you're not actually doing
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
You're, like, getting these updates. "Okay, we're at this day, and this is what happened." So that, out of our 8 eggs that we received or that we had, 6 became viable embryos.
Okay.
Um, with those, each embryo is then ranked.
Mhm.
They're given a letter grade and I believe a number.
Mhm.
Some people have their embryos tested. So they send them over to be tested to see if they will be viable embryos.
Mhm.
You also find out the gender of the embryo. There's all kinds of things. We opted not to have ours tested.
Mhm.
One, because we already felt like we were playing God. But I wholeheartedly believed because my mom had said something about that, and I wholeheartedly believe, even to this day, God gave people the knowledge to be able to help do this.
Yes.
So if that's God's plan for you to do IVF to bring your family away or bring your family here, then that is your way.
That's your way. But you felt like you were playing God
I already felt like
doing
I was
IVF.
playing God a little bit, so I
Mhm.
didn't need to know the
The
gender or any of
mhm.
that.
Okay.
And also to have them tested was another fee that I wasn't prepared to pay.
Mhm.
So we decided to do untested.
Mhm.
Some fertility clinics, though, whenever after the embryos get to a certain stage, I think it's day 8. Once they get there, then you're preparing and you would do a transfer and they would put it into your body.
Mhm.
My clinic, after they get to a certain stage, they freeze them.
Mhm.
So mine were all frozen.
Mhm.
And then they gave my body a break, which it desperately needed. So my body took, I want to say I took a month break.
Mhm.
They put me on birth control and I went on a break for a month, just trying to find some type of
Mhm.
normalcy. But also, there's certain things that you have to do to prepare to do a transfer.
Mhm.
So, after that, then we decide, okay, we're doing a transfer. You start a whole cycle. And
Mhm.
whenever you do a transfer cycle, there are still shots involved
Mhm.
because you need to make sure that your uterus lining is
Mhm.
a certain thickness.
Mhm.
And there's,
Shots every day when you're preparing
mhm,
for transfer.
yes,
Okay.
yes, every single day.
Okay.
So, and these ones aren't oil. These are the ones that hurt, in my
Mhm.
opinion. I hated these
Mhm.
ones.
Mhm.
They were just so painful,
Mhm.
that, like, they're in oil, and, like, my husband would, like, roll it in his hands to, like, warm it up so that I would go in easier. It still hurt.
Did you know what these things were or what the medications were?
At the time, I knew the different
Okay.
medications,
Okay.
and they would tell you, like, "Okay, this is for this is for this." Um, I feel like at this point, I've removed myself from it that I've kind of blocked it out of my brain
Okay.
as to which
Okay.
ones are
Okay.
which.
Okay. No, no problem. No
Yes.
problem. So you're going in for your transfer.
Yes.
You know.
Going in for your transfer,
Talk about that.
and, so my first transfer, my husband's there, and they don't put you to sleep for it, you're awake the entire
Mhm.
time.
Did they give you anything?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, you're just there. You had to drink, like, so much fluids because you had to have a full bladder, and they do it under ultrasound, and, before, like, the whole infertility process, I had never had, like, male doctors of the gynecological world.
Mhm.
My main doctor was a female, but she did have male assistants and things like that,
Mhm.
so, I mean, it was definitely eye-opening. But I'm okay with it now, but it was definitely eye-opening, but your transfer, at least at my clinic, in my experience, like, I would go and I would sit on this table and they would take me in first, and then you would lay there, and then, like, you're just completely bare on the bottom, and then they have, like, an ultrasound that they are, like, looking at your bladder and where it needs to go, and then the doctor would come in, they would bring your husband in, and, they would have a monitor. So then the nurse will come in and they're like, "Okay, this embryo is Lexi Dowdy's, and it is for, X, Y, and Z. It's a whatever the grade is, we're doing this." Like, they would tell you all these things about it. I was like, "Okay, cool. Let's do this." So then there's a little monitor that you watch that you can see it shoot in, and then they give you, like, a little ultrasound picture afterwards. They do.
Does any of this hurt when you're doing your transfer?
Transfers never hurt for
Okay.
me. Some women do experience pain at transfers, and I remember, one woman, she actually was put to sleep for her transfers.
Okay.
She was just very anxious, and, like, if that's you, that's fine.
Okay.
But for me, I was never
Okay.
super anxious about them. But like they put it in there, they're like, "Okay, that was beautiful. It's right here." And then they would send you home with a picture of your embryo
Mhm.
and like little like ultrasound things
Mhm.
of like it going in. I was like, okay, cool.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
then I would like show them, "Look, mom, there's my embryo."
Yeah, so, I mean,
We would
you're
put it on our
excited. I mean, you're
refrigerator.
excited at this time,
Yeah, you're
right?
excited, and then you
Mhm.
have the 2-week wait where
Mhm.
you're just living your best life
Mhm.
for 2
Mhm.
weeks, and then
Mhm.
you go in for blood work,
Mhm.
and then they call you and tell you, "Oh, you're not pregnant." And then that ultrasound picture gets thrown in the trash.
So, but we can't just gloss,
No,
okay?
yes, so
You're thinking to
yes,
this first.
you're thinking it's good, you're high hopes, high
Mhm.
expectations, and then you go in for your thing, and in my experience, at least, I would go in, get my blood work, and then I would be called and told, "Sorry, it didn't implant."
And when you think about this, so I feel like we keep did you do more than one round of IVF?
So I did 1 retrieval,
Mhm.
I did multiple
Multiple
transfers.
transfers. Okay.
Yes. And I did also mock transfers that
Okay.
I'll explain
Okay.
later, but
Okay.
yes.
Um, so this first time when, after your first transfer and you get because you're thinking, "I'm getting pregnant,"
Mhm.
did you think that you would need to do more than one transfer?
No,
Okay,
no.
you thought this was the time,
I
and
thought
then
I was gonna get pregnant.
can you go back to that call when you got that call?
Oh, it was devastating.
Mhm.
It was devastating, them saying, "I'm sorry, it didn't implant, you're not pregnant."
Mhm.
It was devastating. I'm
Mhm.
sure I cried in my car or something. Because 'cause
Mhm.
it always happened too, like, they would always call when I was by myself
Mhm.
or at work.
Mhm.
It never happened when I was at home with my husband, having a good old
Mhm.
time. It was always when I was alone or at work.
Yeah.
And then not only, like, being upset and finding out, but then having to tell other people.
Mhm.
So I was always very open about infertility and
Mhm.
IVF,
Mhm.
and, like, we would tell my mom every time we did a cycle, and then having to go back to her and be like, "I'm sorry, it didn't work."
Mhm.
And, like, my mom didn't care. My mom is my ride or die, but still having to tell her, "I'm sorry, you're not gonna have a grandkid." Having to tell my siblings and my other family, "Hey, it didn't work."
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
it was very, very
Mhm.
hard.
Mhm.
So and then, like, then you go home and you have that embryo on your refrigerator,
Mhm.
and then, "Okay, what do we do with this?
Mhm. Mhm.
What do
Mhm.
you do with that?"
Mhm. Mhm.
So I think my husband, if he got home before me and it happened, he would always take it down and put it somewhere. He never threw them away.
Mhm.
He would put it
Mhm.
somewhere. I don't remember where he put it, but he would put it somewhere out of sight.
Mhm.
And he would try to like, "It's okay, we're gonna do it again." But at that first time, like I thought we were good.
Mhm.
We all thought we were, IVF, you get a baby.
Yeah, that's what you think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So then we did a second one
Mhm.
and same result.
Mhm.
No baby. So then my doctor said, "We need to do a, a mock cycle. And instead of doing a transfer, we're going to do a biopsy of your uterus."
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, so
You took all those shots.
we did everything as if we were doing a regular cycle.
Mhm.
And instead of a transfer, they went in while I was awake
Mm.
and took a chunk out of my uterus.
Mm. Wow.
It
Was
was
that
very
painful?
painful. I hated it. I did not know why I was awake for it. They should have put me to sleep.
Yeah.
So, we we did that, and this was a different expense, was not covered by insurance,
Mhm.
but we had to do it
Mhm.
to figure out what was happening.
Mhm.
So then the results came back from that, and they were inconclusive.
Mhm.
So my doctor said, "Okay, in order for us to figure this out, we have to do another
Another
biopsy."
biopsy.
And my mom, like, we didn't have money to pay for another biopsy.
What did the biopsy cost?
I don't remember the exact
Okay.
price, but we didn't have money for it.
Okay.
My mom said, "You know what? I'll take care of the new one."
Mhm.
So my mom paid for
Another biopsy.
another
You
biopsy,
had to do meds.
and I had to. act like I was doing a cycle, a
Mhm.
transfer cycle,
Okay.
do the medicine,
Mhm.
and then do another biopsy.
Mhm.
Again, still being awake.
Mhm.
And then that biopsy came back and they're like, okay, you have to take your shot at this exact time every day, and that's what's going to work with your body. And, okay, fine, whatever. So we have this information, and we're getting closer to 2020, and we all know what happened in 2020.
Mhm.
So we're getting closer to 2020. And at this point, I am tired.
Mhm.
I am worn down.
Mhm.
We had already done with a total of everything, all the cycles that we had done, IUIs, timed cycles, all of that. We had done, and including the biopsy cycles, we had done 9 cycles.
Mhm.
I was tired.
Yeah.
So after that biopsy, I told my husband, I said, we're going to do one more.
Mhm.
We're going to do it at this time. We're not telling anybody that we're doing it.
Mhm.
It's going to be you and me that know.
Mhm.
We're not telling anybody else.
Mhm.
If it works out, great. If not, okay.
Mhm.
We'll tell people we did it. It didn't work,
Mhm.
but we're doing one more. So I even told my doctor, I was like, I've decided that I'm doing this is my last one. And she's like, well, you need to consult me with these things, this, that, and the other. We're in the trenches. And I said, nope,
Why?
we're doing one more.
Why
I
did
was like,
you need to consult?
after this, I'm done.
Yeah.
So we prepared for our last cycle.
Mhm.
This was late 2019, early 2020. Yeah, early 2020. It was, like, before everything shut down, like, literally right before everything shut down. So we're preparing for our last cycle, and, we went through it,
Mhm.
and the outcome was the same as every other time.
Mhm.
We did not get pregnant.
Mhm. Did you have any hope
Oh,
at that last one?
I always had hope.
Okay.
Every single
Every
time.
time.
Even there's sometimes, even now, that, like, something will happen, and I'll have, like, a thought or a
Mhm.
hope that,
Mhm.
"Oh, maybe this will happen."
Mhm.
Yeah, so, 2020 happened, didn't work. So we're like, "Okay, we're stepping away.
Mhm.
We can try this naturally if we want, but I needed to step away.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I could not continue on the path that I was on.
Mhm.
I did not like the person that I had become.
Mhm.
I was emotional, I
Mhm.
was mean,
Mhm.
I was a shell of myself.
Mhm.
I was not who I was.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so I decided we're stepping away.
Mhm.
At this time, though, is when my friends started having babies.
Mhm.
Yeah, so my best friend of, over 20 years, she had her son in December of 2020.
Mhm.
One of my college friends, she had her daughter in December of 2020.
Wow.
Um, we have so I had to go to baby showers.
Yeah.
Being in that mindset and going to baby showers is a very, very interesting thing.
Mhm.
I want to be there
To
and
say the best.
be happy for my friends,
Uh-huh.
but also I am screaming on the inside.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was very, very hard,
Mhm.
especially now to this day. I still don't have children. But even if I'm invited to a baby shower, like I'll send a gift.
Mhm.
I do not want to be there.
Mhm.
And I've moved on in my journey, but something will take me back to being in that position
Mhm.
every single time.
Mhm.
I think we need to start having showers for, "Hey, you know what? You're in your 30s and you did something. Let's have a party.
Let's
Well,
have
people
'em.
bring you gifts." Like, I baby showers are one of those things that it is exclusive for people with children,
Mm.
and that's very hard for me.
Mhm.
That is
Mhm.
very hard for me.
Mhm.
Even to this day, very hard for me.
So I want to talk about you've said it, and like it's a great way to identify what that journey, when you're in the dark of that journey, you're in the
Mhm.
trenches and you decide, okay, I'm getting out of the trenches, you
Mhm.
know? I'm getting out of it. It's too dark here. It's
Mhm.
too heavy here. My I've put my body through so much here. My
Yes.
body needs a break. My emotions, my everything needs a break. I'm
Mhm.
getting out. Um, and when you say you're getting out, did you feel like it was like I'm getting out and now I need to heal?
Oh,
Did you feel
absolutely.
like that?
But not only did I need to heal, I needed to heal myself.
Mhm.
My husband needed to heal
It
himself,
has, yeah, absolutely.
and we needed to heal our marriage. We
Absolutely.
needed to learn, one, what we went through was very traumatic.
Mhm.
Two, we were not always the nicest to each other during
Mhm.
that time.
Mhm.
And three, both of us probably did things that we shouldn't have done during that time.
Mhm.
So we needed to learn, one, what our marriage, what we wanted it to look like,
Mhm.
but two, how do we heal not only ourselves, but our
The
marriage?
marriage.
Do we want to stay in
The
this?
marriage.
Yes.
The marriage.
Yes.
The marriage.
And that was very hard for us.
Yeah.
I will tell you that there was one point where there was a point where my husband and I were not sleeping in the same bedroom.
Mhm.
He was sleeping in the guest bedroom, I was sleeping in our bedroom.
Mhm.
There was a point where I told him, I said, I mean, obviously I'm working on myself, I am not perfect, but there was a point where I told him, I said, "You need to go." I was like, "You've been holding on to your baggage for too long.
Mhm.
You need to go get therapy and figure yourself out, or we're getting a divorce."
Mhm.
And that was like, I drew a line in the sand.
Mhm.
And like, I was working on myself. I feel that we both had a rebirth.
Mhm.
I am not the same woman today that I am, or the woman that I am today is not the same woman who went into infertility
Mhm.
and that my husband married. I
Mhm.
am not the same woman.
Mhm.
He is not the same man that I married.
Yeah.
But learning how to navigate that,
Mhm.
but also we both had a lot that we needed to figure out.
Mhm.
We both did things that we probably shouldn't have. We
Mhm.
were not nice to each other.
Mhm.
But learning how to navigate that, and also, I mean, I had seen so many women who went through IVF, went through infertility, and they got a divorce. And for the longest time we would say like, "Oh, we beat we beat infertility because, we're still married."
Mhm.
And it took me telling him, "No, actually, our marriage struggled.
Mhm.
Infertility ruined our marriage.
Mhm.
But we decided that we still wanted to be in this. We still wanted to be married,
Mhm.
and we rebuilt that."
Mhm.
And that took a long time.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
took a really long time.
Mhm.
I mean, my marriage is not perfect by any means, but it took a really long time for us to get to a place where we could be best friends again,
Yeah.
and that we were okay.
'Cause in the trenches, were you even dating?
No, not at all.
You were just,
No,
it was like
no.
a transactional
It was,
thing.
well, and, like, you weren't having sex to have sex, you were literally doing it on whatever the time doctor things that they told you. And they tell you, "Nope, you're not allowed to have sex on
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
3 days," or something like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
Like, it was all transactional.
Mhm.
There was no dating, there was
Mhm.
no intimacy.
Mhm.
Um, it was just like, "Okay, we're doing this."
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. And even if there was, I was not receptive
Mhm.
because I was not in the place to want that.
Yeah, to want that.
Yeah.
So you 3 so 100% I agree,
Mhm.
because it doesn't matter what you do, like, specifically on your
Mhm.
journey when you're in those trenches, but it's all trauma at the end of
Mhm.
the day.
It is.
You are impacted. Your
Mhm.
husband is impacted, or wives for husbands.
Yes.
But and your marriage
Yes.
is impacted. So that's threefold, right? And then
Yes.
I like to add, I don't know about you, but for me, my relationship with the Lord was impacted.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's like now you got all these things. Was there anyone that you said, this one like, I need to heal myself first before I can work on the marriage, or the marriage needs to be priority, or was it like a combination of?
I feel that walking away from it,
Mhm.
there was a peace
Mhm.
that I did everything that I can.
Mhm.
There was a peace.
Mhm.
Um, However, I feel that I had a lot of rebuilding that I needed to do in
Mhm.
my own and figure out not only who I was, but
Mhm.
who I wanted to be.
Mhm.
Because I mean, this was 2020. So who am I going to be? What am I doing with my life?
Mhm.
You know?
Mhm.
So, and that there was a lot of unknown
Mhm.
because in this infertility world, you see women who they have infertility, they do infertility treatments, and they have a baby. So, I had never seen or even heard of people, okay, I did IVF, I have no baby, now what?
Mhm.
So, it was not only finding myself, but figuring out, okay, what does life look like?
Mhm.
Because what does it look like?
Yeah.
Um,
What does it look like without children?
Now
Not now, but that I'm asking, like,
it
that was that the question?
that was the question,
Mhm.
yes. And it took me a really long time to figure out
Mhm.
what that
Mhm.
was.
Mhm.
So I think a part of me needed to grieve the idea of not having children.
But
Also, while there are people around you who say, "Oh, well, you don't have children yet,"
Mhm.
or, "Oh, it must be nice that you don't have children," or, "Oh, I'll give you my children."
Yeah.
And that, to me, that's always been something that's been very hurtful
Mhm.
because they don't know what I went through,
Mhm.
to try to have children.
Mhm.
And it's one of those things that, yeah, your kids give you a hard time,
Mhm.
but there have been plenty of times where I would have killed to be up with a sick baby on me.
Mhm. Mhm.
And, oh, your kid did this. Okay, I would have killed to be able to do that.
Mhm.
Or I've done something. Oh, it must be nice that you don't have any kids and you can go do this. I tried
Mhm. Mhm.
very, very hard. I went to extremes that other people did not go to,
Yeah.
just so that way I could have a chance at having a child.
Mhm.
So it was very much a grieving process,
Mhm.
all while rebuilding myself, rebuilding my marriage.
Mhm.
And it took meeting a couple who was closer in age to me, that they were in their 40s and they had fertility struggles. And it took meeting them and seeing that, they're happy in their marriage.
Mhm.
They are building a life for themselves.
Mhm.
It took me seeing that
Mhm.
to be like, okay, this is what it could look
Mhm.
like.
It's possible to be in a
Yes.
thriving, happy, joy-filled,
Yes.
fruitful marriage without these babies that
Without
I
having
wanted so bad.
children.
Mhm.
Yes. So then I kind of started on that journey, rebuilding my marriage.
Mhm.
Um, and then we kind of had a hiccup
Mhm.
when my sister got pregnant.
Mhm. Yeah.
It it gutted me.
Yeah.
My I I'm very thankful to my sister. She, before she told anybody else, she came to me and told me,
Mhm.
which I appreciate that and I will forever be grateful.
Mhm.
Um, but even when she told my father, she told my dad, and the first thing out of his mouth is Lexi okay?
Mhm.
Because my family knew
Mhm.
that it would absolutely gut me.
I appreciate that that is your testimony so much because it doesn't look like that for everybody. Like
Mhm,
where you felt like you had the freedom to involve people,
mhm,
right? For me, I when I was in the trenches, oh, I wasn't.
mhm.
Nobody, nobody was really safe for me. So
Understand.
I was, but you also had I think about your mom, how your mom listened to the podcast. She
Yes.
listened, watched, read, whatever it was. So
Mhm.
I'm assuming that that helped everybody else to be able to say, "Let me do the same thing," or "Let me talk to
Yes.
them about this." And they were receptive and
Yes.
they thought about you.
I wholeheartedly when as I was towards the end of my infertility trenches,
Mhm.
I at one point decided that, okay, this is what God has given me.
Mhm.
How am I going to glorify him in this?
Period.
And I realized that because it was such a lonely journey for me and I was so unhappy
Mhm.
that I would not keep my story inside and let someone else deal with that
Mhm.
alone.
Mhm. Love that.
I had like after my journey, I had friends who like would post something about they were having issues or something like that every single time I would reach out to them.
Mhm. Mhm.
Hey, I'm here if you need me.
Mhm.
I have gone through this. If
Mhm.
you need somebody to speak to, I am
Mhm.
here.
Mhm.
I have been at craft shows and I heard somebody say something just like minuscule that if you're not in the infertility community, you have no idea what they're talking about. And I've been at craft shows and I heard somebody say something and I said, "Excuse me, are you struggling with infertility?
Mhm.
Let me tell you my story and let me tell you how, like, if you need something."
Mhm.
A total stranger. Do you want my information? Do you want to call me at 3 o'clock in the morning crying? Here you go.
Love that.
Ever since then, like I am not shy to talk about my story. I mean, I have my story right here on my arm.
Mhm.
In 2020, after my last cycle, I was like, you know what? I'm doing something.
Mhm.
So my friend drew my tattoo.
Mhm.
It has the infertility symbol. It has the infertility symbol, and then I had warrior put on it because after everything was said and done, we did 10 cycles,
Mhm.
and I decided that I was a warrior because of it.
Well, and when you told me that when we met,
Mhm,
I that like really just blew my mind because
mhm,
when the Lord dropped this podcast and everything else that this is meant to be, the warrior in us is meant to be. The name was the warrior in us,
mhm,
and it never changed. There was never another option. That was the name. And
mhm,
then I was having a moment when we met, and it was like, is this me or is this you, Lord? Because if this is me, I quit.
mhm. I get
I don't
it.
want to do this. And then you show me your tattoo and
Mhm.
and and then that warrior under. I'm like, all right, okay, I'm gonna sit down and just be here where you got me. I
Yes,
love that. I
yes,
love that. So I feel like we're getting into how it to me it sounds like you made a decision that you were gonna thrive in your life.
I did. I
Mhm.
did. So it started with, my sister getting pregnant, and I feel like I had a decision to make then,
Mhm.
that I could either be upset about it,
Mhm.
that why is my sister able to get pregnant and I can't?
Mhm.
I had to make a decision. Was I going to, be upset,
Mhm.
or was I going to learn how to embrace this?
Mhm.
So in this time
Mhm.
of learning, I spoke to my granny. My granny was in her 90s.
Mhm.
Amazing woman. So
Mhm.
glad that I got to grow up with her.
Mhm.
I spoke to my granny And I was talking to my granny about the journey and everything. And my granny revealed to me that she struggled to have children for 10 years.
Mhm.
And she and I, we had a amazing conversation about this. And
Mhm.
the fact that she just kept it inside this
Mhm.
whole time and didn't share that.
Mhm.
But we had an amazing conversation about it. And one day I asked her, I said, Granny, what did you do in your period of waiting?
Mhm.
And one thing she said to me is she said that she even though she had no children of her own, she tried to surround herself with children
Mhm.
and be able to be a mother in other ways to
Mhm.
children.
Mhm.
So when my sister gets pregnant, I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to be the best aunt that I can possibly be,
Mhm.
whatever that looks like."
Mhm. Mhm.
And, now I have 2 nephews. I
Love
have
it.
Noah and Leo.
Mhm.
Noah is my everything.
Yeah.
Leo's an infant still. He's only, like, 7 months old. I don't even know how old he is. He's a baby.
Yeah.
But Noah is my everything.
Mhm.
There is not a thing that I will not do for that child.
Mhm.
When my sister went to have the new baby, Noah was at my house because my sister said that I was the one who she knew that she could trust with him and
Mhm.
that would keep his routines
Mhm.
in place.
Mhm.
So to have that recognition,
Yeah.
even just this past weekend, Noah stayed the night.
Mhm.
And my sister walked in he has his own bedroom at my house with Spider-Man sheets.
Love it.
And my sister walked into his room and she's like, "Sister, you have all these books for my baby here?" And I said, "Yeah, we read them. We I do the things that you do at home with him,
Mhm.
except for I let him watch TV, unlike her."
Uh-oh.
But other than that, and I'm just at this place with this child that, like, you can't tell me he's not my child.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, he's my nephew, but I care for those boys as if they were my own.
Yeah.
I mean, I go to ice skating lessons.
Mhm.
I don't go to the outdoor sports because I don't wanna sit outside, and that's not an Aunt Lexi thing, okay? I'll ask him about baseball, but absolutely not. I'm not going to watch, okay?
Yeah.
Or soccer, not doing that either. But, like, ice skating my Noah takes ice skating lessons every Wednesday.
Mhm.
I go to ice skating lessons and watch him ice skate. He
Mhm.
currently knows how to skate backwards at the age of 4.
Mhm.
Good for him, love that. Um, I I want him to have experiences
Mhm.
that I may not have necessarily had as a child.
Mhm.
So I decided that I wanted him to go to Disney.
Mhm.
Not Disney World either, Disneyland.
Mhm.
I wanted him to go to Disney.
Mhm.
And I knew that because I have no children, I have a dual income,
Mhm.
that if I wanted him to go to Disney, that he could go to Disney,
Mhm.
but I didn't wanna be responsible for him at
Yeah.
Disney. So, my husband and I, and my mom as well, I ended up making an entire family trip to where my mom came, my aunt came, my cousins came, but
Mhm.
my mom and I, obviously my husband and my mom and her husband, we funded that trip
Mhm.
so that way my sweet baby nephew could go to Disney,
Yeah.
and it was the time of his life. Did he want to ride and for listeners, if you've never been to Disneyland, there's a ride. Say ride. They are canoes that you paddle around this water area. You literally have paddles. That was that baby's favorite ride in all of Disney. The canoes. Not Dumbo, not teacups, the canoes.
Mhm.
But you know what? We were right there with them, riding on those, canoes, and he was almost 3 at the time,
Mhm.
and everybody's like, "Well, why are you taking them so young?" And I said, "It's fine. He's having the
Yeah.
experience." This past Christmas, he and we were driving around looking at Christmas lights,
Mhm.
and, he's like, "Aunt Lexi." I'm like, "Yeah, babes, what's up?" And he's like he calls Disney Mickey's house. He's like, "You remember when we went to Mickey's house?" I was like, "Yeah, I remember." And he's like, "I really wanna go back."
Mhm.
And I said, "Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If that is what you wanna do and I can make it happen, if it's in my power, Absolutely. We're currently planning a sister's trip because my sweet baby nephew has never seen the ocean and has never been to the beach. And I'm a firm believer that a lake is not a beach.
No.
It is
No.
the ocean is the only beach.
No.
So I want him to have the experience of going to the beach.
Yes. Yes.
So I spoke to my sister and I was like, if I book it, will you go? And she said, absolutely. So my baby's going to the beach.
I love that. So you made a decision that you were going to thrive, and then you made a decision to pour in the children that the Lord has allowed to be in your life, or allowed you to be a part of their life.
Yes.
Right? Which in the closest are usually those nieces and nephews. And
Yes.
what do you and your husband do as like a pivotal moment on your journey to thrive in your marriage?
I think the biggest thing we did is therapy. And actually in that therapy world, we actually found out my husband was diagnosed bipolar. And it was like something that clicked. And I was like, this makes so much sense now. I was like, I'm not crazy. So getting on medication for my husband, that has been a huge, huge thing. Now being medicated and just like deciding that one, we wanted to be in our marriage. And two, that we were going to grow in our marriage, that we were two new people that we needed to learn, okay, how do these people work together? How do these people have a happy and healthy marriage? And I think a lot of that is we started traveling. We started dating again, learning what our lives could look like without children. I mean, even now to this day, do we get people saying, oh, it must be nice that you can go do this.
Yeah.
And my response now is, yeah, I don't have kids. Do I need to tell them why I don't have kids or everything that I went through to get those or try to get those kids? No. Because in my opinion, it's not, they are baiting me almost.
You feel like that?
Sometimes I do, that they're baiting me and it's not worth being like, hey, I tried to have kids.
And is these like, are these people that are close to you, or just random strangers? People in the places you was.
Sometimes it depends.
Depends.
Like, yeah, it's been like coworkers, or it's been like, like people at church, things like that. And sometimes I think it comes out of a place of jealousy, to be honest with you. And at this point in my life, I am I'm not completely healed, but I am more healed and more whole than I have ever been.
Love it.
And it's not worth my time.
Yeah.
My peace is far more important.
I love it.
So it's just like okay, yeah, I don't have kids.
I love it.
I'm going to go live my best life. If I want to take off a random Tuesday and go to the Grand Canyon, then that's what I'm going to do. Yes.
I love that. And so the next relationship, right? How did your relationship with the Lord transform after your decision that you were going to thrive despite?
My relationship with the Lord grew deeper.
How did you do that?
Feel it wasn't me. It was not me at all. That is nothing but the Lord. It was not me. I believe that I was put into places that it was very much at the end of everything. I was like, okay, Lord, if this is not what you have for me, show me what you do have for me. Show me whatever this path looks like and where I'm going. take this desire away from me and give me a desire for whatever it is that you have. And through that, I mean, I was put into situations. My cousin was in the army, still is in the army. He has 2 daughters. One was 2 years old, the other one was 6. The 6-year-old had a stroke. She's special needs, she had a stroke, and he was being deployed. I was in the position to go and help. I ended up moving out to Washington State for 2.5, almost 3 months to be there with his wife, to be there hands-on helping her every step of the way. She was able to go to the hospital and be with her daughter, and I held things down at her house with the 2-year-old. Just being in different places, and understanding that this is what my purpose is, to be able to be like, "Okay, I'm here for this." So my favorite Bible verse, John 13:7. It's when Jesus is washing the disciples' feet, and Jesus says, "You don't understand what I'm doing now, but later you will." That is a verse that ever since it was brought to me, I live my life by that, because just thinking about that, like, okay, if these things would have happened the way that my plan
Your
was,
plan.
I would have never been able to do these other plans and what the Lord has for me. I would have never been able to share my story with other people and give them just a little bit of hope. And maybe their darkest time, their lowest valley. So it's one of those things where, like, it wasn't me that grew my faith. It was the Lord constantly showing me thing after thing and putting me in that position to where I almost feel that my infertility forced me to grow to be the person that he needed me to be.
Thank you.
That's where I'm at.
Thank you.
Yes.
You've answered like a number of questions that I wanted you to answer. So that's great. I just want to say thank you.
Welcome.
I feel like we could sit here all day.
Oh, yes.
I really feel like we could sit here all day and talk about the trenches, you know?
Yes.
And I hope and pray that you will come back.
Of
I pray you
course.
will come back. I look forward to episodes where we're on here with our husbands and they get to give their insight, or not even insight, just their lenses in that
Yeah.
in the trenches, you know, and so many other things. But I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for your vulnerability and your transparency, and thank you for being willing to come and sit and share. I have like some wrap up questions,
Oh, yes.
but I want you to, do you feel like there was something that you wanted to say, needed to say, should say?
You know what? I will say that for me, something that helped me move to heal and move past, and I think in this day and age, not everybody thinks about this, but something that really helped me to heal myself is I got rid of all of social media.
Yes.
Social media
Same.
was one of those things that I needed to remove myself from. And even to this day, I mean, we're in 2026, so it's been 6 years since I've done a cycle. I have Instagram, but my Instagram is full of spiritual things, dogs, Disney, and mostly dogs.
Yeah.
And like, I have a couple friends on there, but like, for the most part, like, it's what you're filling your mind with.
What you're filling your mind with.
And I could not handle constant birth announcements, people showing their family at that time. And I mean, like, now I can handle that. But at that point in time, and I mean, I'm not perfect. Mother's Day is coming up. I will not be on social media at all for Mother's Day and probably a day or two after. Because even though I am not in that space, Mother's Day will always be hard for me because at the end of the day, I'm not a mother, nor will I probably ever be a mother. And I'm sure there's people, well, if God wants you to have a child, God will let you have a child. Yes, God will. But at this point in my life, I don't believe that's the plan He has for me. So it's just one of those things that there's so many women who, like, yes, I have a mother. And I've actually told my mom about this, like, I hate Mother's Day. And she's like, why? You have a mother. And I said, yes, but I am not a mother, nor will I ever be a mother. And that is very hard for me. It is a hard day for me. So just, like, if you're in the trenches, if you're in a moment of healing, like, don't be afraid to step away from social media. Don't worry, it will be there when you get back. And if you never want to get back, it's okay.
Your life, you'll still, that will probably be best for you anyway.
Yes.
Right? If you're not on there.
Yes.
I would say I definitely did the same thing. I had to get off social media at a certain point in time, and even today, I'm really careful about how I am on there. And then also, I don't know about you, but it's like I did things to kind of block certain things, but no matter what, the feed is always babies and pregnant women, and I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. I would agree. I'm better today as well. It's not like as triggering as it used to be, but it's just like social media is like, it can be horrific.
I agree.
It can be horrific. It could be horrific.
Yeah.
So if you can think back to the trenches, right? What was the worst advice somebody gave you when you were in the trenches?
I don't know that I got a lot of advice.
You don't think you got any advice?
Not that I can really remember. Like, I remember I was very closed off to advice because even when people would try to tell me things, I was like, again, I was mean. And I would be like, you've never been here in my shoes. You don't know what I'm dealing with. So I don't remember, like, even being open to advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because again, like, there was nobody else in my area that had my same shared life experience. So I don't even remember being open to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's real. Because I know for me, one of the most ridiculous thing that I heard is, oh, when you relax, it's gonna happen.
Oh, yeah.
When you stop worrying about it, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
When you stop trying, it's gonna happen. You're too stressed out.
People definitely told me that. Somebody also told me that you just need to go on a trip to Hawaii. It's healing there. And then they're like, my wife and I went to Hawaii and we got pregnant. I've been to Hawaii, y'all. I didn't get pregnant. It was a great time though, but did not get pregnant.
So, as we just wrap this one up, I wanna ask you, if for the listener or listeners who they're in the trenches, it's dark, it's heavy, it's all of the things. What advice do you have for them? What would you say to them?
I think my biggest advice would be, at the end of the day, you need to do what's right for you. I think that's something that I feel that in the trenches, you are so focused on the goal that you forget about everything else. And I mean, myself included, I was so focused on the goal. I did things that I didn't think that I would do. And at the end of the day, I think you need to remember that you are a person first and that you need to be okay. It's very hard. Also find a community, even if it's just an online community of other people who you can talk to, because it is so, so, so lonely. Even just one person who has had some type of shared experience. And don't keep it inside. I feel like I learned that the hard way. I kept everything inside and that didn't work. So don't keep it inside, but also make sure that you're not neglecting your marriage.
Big one.
You wanted to be in this relationship and you want to have children, but even once you bring those children into the world, you don't want to bring them into a broken marriage.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yes.
And then, you got to go further. Someday those kids are leaving your house and it's going to be you and your spouse.
Yes, exactly.
What is that going to look like?
And you want to be happy with them. Yes.
What is that going to look like?
Yes.
I loved, yes.
Yes. You want to make sure that, like, check in with your spouse. I personally did not do enough checking in with my husband. Check in with them. Make sure that they mental health wise are okay. Because yes, again, I say my body was the one who went through it, but mentally my husband went through it.
He went through it.
And they have their own trauma. Make sure you're checking in and make sure that, like, yes, you are trying to have this child, but also make sure your marriage is priority. And it's hard.
It's hard.
It's very, very hard.
100%.
But I think it's something that if you want to bring a child into the relationship, it is worth still nurturing the relationship. Yes.
Love it.
And too, if you end up, at the other side and you are child free, you still want to be able to have that relationship and a partner at the end of the day. Yes.
Love it.
Yes, those are my advices.
Thank you, Lexi.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I do just believe that I've been blessed sitting here listening to you. So
That is good.
somebody else needs to hear your story.
It's always been my mission that infertility was given to me for a reason, and whatever that reason may be, if I can help just one other person get through what was the hardest part of my life, then I feel like it's a glory. Not to me, obviously, but to the Lord.
To the Lord.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I hope you all have enjoyed what Lexi has poured into us today, through the grace of the Lord, of course. But thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you, as always, are well and are continuing the journey to thrive wherever you are. Until next time, be well.
Bye.